These are a few of my favorite things.
Hello there, Heister! Here we are, a year after Payday 3 finally came out, and we are talking about the last DLC for the year. It's been a long year, full of ups and downs, mainly just first downs and a bunch more downs, and then some ups, and then for the last 3 months, it's been basically all ups. But I'm not here right now to talk about all the DLC that's come out in the last year, or anything that's really come out in the last year, besides the DLC that just came out. I will be doing a whole year in review in the next video I do for Payday 3, which should come out in the next few weeks. It won't take me too long to make, so if you want to see it, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified for when that comes out. As for the Fear and Greed update, or as I come to know it, the Fear and Loathing at the New York Stock Exchange update, this update gave us, one new heist, 4 new weapons, some cosmetics, and a pretty decent amount of fixes. Not to mention, we were also teased some things that are going to come out in the future. Some things that aren't just said in a blog post, but some things that you can find in the files of the game. And if you want to hear more about that, you should stay to the end of this video, because that's what I'll be talking about. So let's start off with the heist. This is the Fear and Greed heist. We're stealing from the New York Stock Exchange. Story-wise, we're doing this to get back at Concord. And there's no real loot in this heist at all. You don't need bag pickup skills for this heist. You're only really picking up maybe a few bags that you'll use instantly in the heist. Things like a zip line, EMP, radar dish, nothing that you're gonna have to bag and secure. So if you want, you can customize a build that won't have you picking up 2 bags at once. You won't need that skill point for this. It's a very unique map. We haven't had something like this before, at least not in concept. I mean, it might be similar to some other maps. Honestly, it kind of gives me some Alesso Heist lobby vibes, but honestly, that could be mainly due to the, oh God, my eyes. Oh my God, this lighting. Oh God, I hate it so much. Why is it so blue? Why is it so blue? Why would you make this blue? Oh God, my eyes. Oh God, my eyes. Why is it so blue? Hold on. I have an idea. PAX gave me these. They're Zenny yellow, like lens blue light filter ones or whatever these things are. I haven't worn them or had a need for them. I'm not sponsored by them. Let's see. Not gonna lie, that actually kind of helps. In the patch notes, it does say that the lighting here is a known bug. So apparently it's not supposed to look like a movie made by the Asylum or like a shitty day for night shot, but my God, does that not make my eyes hurt any less. It's way too blue. This is bad. Thankfully, it doesn't always stay like that, but you'll be looking at the blue light a majority of the time. Once you steal enough money or the stock market crashes, it turns red, then you EMP it and the lighting just turns normal. Which, if you're EMPing, shouldn't there be no lighting whatsoever? No, fine. I actually don't entirely know the answer to this one. Now, besides the lighting issue, this heist itself it's okay. Honestly, it's not the best heist out of the ones we've gotten this year. In fact, when it comes to paid DLC heist, I might consider it to be the worst out of the 4. Not that it's a bad heist. I think it's still better than some of the base game ones, but it's definitely the weakest of the 4. And I'm not sure where Diamond District comes into play on that list. But of the ones we paid for, it's definitely the 4th one. I will say though, out of the 4 of them, I think this one might have the most RNG. I can name 3 instances of RNG in this heist. First off, you start off on the roof of the heist and you have to take an elevator shaft down. There are 3 elevators that you can take down, and you won't know which one you have to take down until you disable power. And the switch to disable the power to the elevator is in one of 3 rooms. The second set of RNG is in one of the 2 sides of the map. You'll find the USB drive that you need, as well as the documents that you have to search. And the last set of RNG is when you need to get the 3 codes. After plugging the USB into this giant monitor with a keypad, it'll tell you which one of the 6 booths that you need to go to and hack to get the code. You won't know which one you need next until you're finished with the one that you're currently on. So it's random as to which ones you need to get. It's not like syntax error where you find out that you need ACE or DCB or BED. It's not like that. You have to go one by one. And while this requires a bit more waiting, I think this kind of helps make the heist feel longer. even if it's artificial. Some may not like that aspect of the heist because it's a lot of hurry up and waiting, but at least it doesn't feel like I'm speedrunning it every time I play it. And there's a lot of good cover in this heist, so you don't have to worry about being out in the open too much, which I do like. What I don't like is the default spawn. Spawning on the roof causes a few issues with this heist. The first is you have to get into the building before it gets loud, otherwise you're gonna lose all the hostages. Which is fair, I guess. But having the ability to start at ground level with a mask off is something that you do have, but you need an asset for. And it's highly recommended that you use this asset for when you're playing on stealth. The problem is you can't just buy the asset. You have to wait for it to be a random drop from completing a heist. We don't have pre-planning, at least not yet in Payday 3. And as a result of that, I think this heist suffers. To be fair though, I stealthed this heist one time and I'm never going to do it ever again. And the reason why is why I considered this heist to be fourth on the list. The objectives for doing Fear and Greed stealth is no different from doing it loud. It's the exact same. The only thing that's different when it comes to getting the codes from the booths, you don't actually have to wait for them. At least not very long. Other than that, it's the exact same. You still escape from the roof. One other thing that is different is that once you use the EMP, you're on a timer to get out of there. That, I think, makes a lot of sense. But other than that, there's nothing. There's nothing really that much different. So as a result, it seems a bit trickier to do the heist stealth, so why bother doing it stealth? Why not just do it loud from the get-go? For all the difference that it doesn't make, you might as well just waltz right in the front door. Set off the metal detectors. I'm gonna alert the police anyway, so why even bother hiding it? If there was maybe an achievement for doing it stealth, then I would actually have wanted to do it stealth other than the fact that I wanted to make this video. But there are no achievements. No achievements have been added to this game since it was launched, so there's no reason to do it stealth other than to say that you've done it stealth. There are three other things about this heist though that I do like. One, there are donuts. I always like the donuts. Two, there's a trophy that you can steal, which I think is just really funny. And three, the mechanic where you have to prevent them from turning off what you're doing to get the full amount of money is actually a pretty nice mechanic. For once, I'm hell-bent on preventing them from actually stopping what I'm doing. Normally, I don't really care. Oh, you turned the power off? Okay, I'm just gonna take a few more seconds of the time I'm here. It's fun shooting people anyway. But for once, there's a reason, an actual financial reason why you want to make sure they don't stop you from what you're doing. But I think this could be taken a step further. Remember how I said there's no bags in this heist? As a result, there's no XP for collecting all bags. I think if you get the max payout, that should count as all bags. Sadly, with the Fear and Greed heist, we end up with a pretty standard heist with not much variety in it between stealth and loud, with what's honestly a piss poor payout. This heist is honestly not the best way to have ended the year of updates. When you get down to it, it's kind of mediocre, and I think that's mainly the fault of them having to fix so many things this past year that they were mainly playing catch up. The fact that they were able to get all of the DLCs out in the time frame that they were supposed to and fit that contractual obligation, I think is what ended up hurting this heist in the end. I think if they were able to focus all their efforts onto making just the content and not having to fix everything else, they probably would have been able to get something really good. And hopefully they'll be able to at some point come back to this heist and improve it, add some variation between stealth and loud. But unless that happens, I think this heist is just gonna stay where it currently is, as the kind of midway to end the first year of updates. I have a better idea of what they should have done, but I'll talk about that in the next video. For now though, let's move on to the weapons that you'll be using in this heist. We've got one primary, two secondaries, and an overkill weapon. Finally, a new overkill weapon. Let's start with that one first. It's completely free, you don't need to buy the pack for this one, and it's exactly what you would expect would be the next logical thing, a minigun. This beast is honestly my new preferred overkill weapon. I mean, the Red Fox is obviously going to do the most damage per shot, but the minigun is just so much more fun to use. Can it still take out dozers? Yeah, it can still do the job. The only thing you're going to be struggling with is snipers. But honestly, you're probably already using the Red Fox and you're mainly just going to use it to take out dozers. But with the minigun, I actually want to use it on the regular dudes too. You can shoot it at anybody, just regular units, dozers, or even the shields. Just shoot the shields with it. They'll stumble and then you can kill them with it. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun to use. For once, I'm actually excited to get an overkill weapon. I don't know how they're going to one-up this, but, it's nice that we finally got something that's fun to use. The only real downside is when you're holding it, you can't really do anything other than shoot or throw it on the ground and finally do what you want to do. If you want to pick up a teammate, guess what? You got to drop that minigun. That's the only real downside. That's the only downside is when you need to do anything else, the fun stops. But I guess that was the best trade-off that they could think of for this powerful weapon. That and it also slows you down. Next up is the classic shotgun, the Spaz 12, or in this game it's known as the Taz 12. The old Gordon Freeman Special. But unlike Gordon Freeman, this is just a regular pump-action shotgun. Well, I shouldn't say regular. It is better than the Reinfeld. I actually enjoyed this shotgun quite a bit. I know some people don't, but I find that it's actually quite reliable. The ammo pickup for it is really good. On top of that, if you attach the thing that makes it so that way your shots are more horizontal, you can take out a nice small group of enemies pretty easily. I can see myself actually using this shotgun regularly. Would it be my go-to best shotgun in the game? No. But it is fun to use. The main issues I have with it is that the reload is a bit slow. I mean, obviously you're loading in one shot at a time, but the time it takes for you to get in position to start loading the shells takes quite a bit. And I would have loved to have seen something like the Demo shotgun from the previous game, where the Spaz 12 in real life has the ability to be both pump or semi. This game, it's just pump. Hopefully they reintroduce firing modes and then they, update the Spaz 12 to have that feature. But until then, it's just a pump shotgun that's enjoyable and reliable. With a good amount of power, too. It's got a nice amount of power behind it. Unlike the next gun, the Jackknife SE5. This gun is basically going to be my new stealth weapon because I really can't see myself using this in loud. It's honestly pretty subpar when it comes to loud. It takes like 2 shots to the head for regular units, 4 for the heavy units. It's not the best pistol. I mean, when I have a bull kick, Castigo, Rhino, or the next gun that we're going to talk about, I might as well use those as opposed to this one. Think of it as like an alternate version of the Model 11. Now, as for our final weapon, the Gristini Viper 50AE, or as we all know it as, the Desert Eagle, or Deagle for short. This gun is probably going to be my new go-to. I love the bull kick, but the downside to it is that it's a very slow gun with only 5 rounds. Now, while the Deagle isn't as damaging as the bull kick, it can get the job done for the most part as long as you land your shots right. It's great against basically every unit, including shields. You can shoot right through the glass. I love the Deagle in this game. It is fantastic. I didn't really use it much in Payday 2. I didn't like the ammo pickup for it. But here, I'm enjoying this gun. Overall, I'd say 2 out of the 3 weapons in this pack are actually worth using. One of them stands above the rest, and that's the Deagle, which, by the way, was teased all the way back in the Boys in Blue devlog. It was on the table behind Almir. For this DLC, honestly, I would kind of just recommend waiting for a sale. I mean, the Deagle is the one that stands out the most with this. Now, thankfully, Houston has finally healed from his injuries from beating up that judge, and now he's fully playable once again. So grab yourself a case of root beer and give him a try. I did try the Freedom's Fortune preset weapon, and it's a very standard Model 11. Honestly, it's almost identical to the one that I built. There's nothing unique about this one like Clover's gun, so it's kind of pointless to get. I mean, it does look nice, so I'll probably go with it just because of how close it is to the Model 11 that I use, which, granted, I don't really use mine all that much, but mine looks like a squirt gun, so, it does have that over this one. Quick side note, there are 2 things to note about this character pack. If you launch the game and it says that you can't play as him and you need to buy the DLC is free. You just have to go to the Steam page and download it. However, there is a bug that is preventing some players from still unlocking him as a character. I'm sure they're going to have that one ironed out as soon as they can. The problem with this game being cross-platform is that not only does Steam have to then verify it, but so does Xbox and PlayStation. And historically, PlayStation has given them trouble on this one. Remember how the first DLC took like 2 weeks for PlayStation to even look at it? And right now they have another debacle on their hands. So hopefully it can get fixed soon. Speaking of bugs, let's talk about some of the things in the patch notes here. There's mainly only a few things I really want to talk about. The main thing is the balance changes when it comes to the magazines. You see, there was not really that much of a downside to having extended mags. It was mainly just the reload speed being slightly slower. But now they made it so that way the extended mags also reduce the total amount of ammunition in your reserves. Not by much though, basically one default mag's worth. So if the gun's regular magazine holds 30 rounds, with the extended mag, instead of having 300, you'll have 270. It's not that much of a change, but it is something that I wanted to mention, and I think it's a pretty decent change. They also went ahead and fixed the ammo pickup for basically every weapon. Most of them had their weapon pickups increased, with the exception being the Ziv Commando. Other than that, there has just been a slew of bug fixes. Hopefully in the next update, they'll, be able to fix a lot of these bugs like the lighting issue and the Houston issue, but also, add some more achievements. I mean, come on, guys, give me some achievements, some kind of a challenge. I mean, you didn't have to get rid of all the challenges. You could have left some of those in. Admittedly, those challenges did give me some kind of purpose to use different weapons. They gave me some kind of direction. But I bring up achievements because one of them apparently, an achievement that's not hidden, you can't see it yet, but it's somewhere in the game's files, is tied to some cassette tapes that you can find an image of on the Gateway Report website. This information was provided to me actually by Capcake. They were commenting on Vice's stream on launch day, and it really intrigued me. I looked around the map looking for these cassette tapes. We thought they were VHS tapes given the image, but apparently according to the website, they're actually cassette tapes. Now, here's just the theory. The idea of these cassette tapes, along with Starbreeze's whole thing of we want to do more crossovers, not to mention that I swear they're dropping hints that Jacket's going to be returning with the Dragon Files, some of the evidence that you see in the Houston breakout. Not to mention how Derek Ray, Houston's voice actor, was asked in a Q&A, do you like hurting people? I mean, that's a hint right there, right? That's gotta be. I mean, they didn't have to include that in the blog post. They could have picked something else, but that was the one they went with. And I know I would love to see Jacket come back, and I know there's a strong push to have Jacket come back. So please tell me this means that our chicken boy is coming home. Please give me back the chicken man. I beg of you. Please give me him back. What do you think this means? Do you think this is anything at all? Do you think this is just something being overblown? Let me know. I want to know. And along with that, tell me what you think of this heist as well as the new weapons. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe for more Payday content, and remember, drink plenty of water, and as always, I love you. Bye-bye.